Hello and welcome to Critical Tumble, where a bunch of longtime friends and nerdy-ass Tumblr users transcend geography through the power of Skype to play Dungeons and Dragons, and critically fumble a lot. Previously, after the somewhat Pyrrhic victory at Starcoast, which resulted in the death of the barony, but at the very least the destruction of the Taint, and some stop by home to get some advice, get really, really terrified of at least part of what is behind all this nonsense, and just generally, occasionally putting one's foot in it. Um, the group was sent to Belarus in Equitas, where Hazel's foster mothers apparently have favors owed them by the governor there, Hjal Fortinbras. It was most of the way through their first day of travel, and they'd only just crossed the barony line into Gray's Inn, when they were attacked out of apparently nowhere by an earth elemental. They dispatched it oddly easily, all things considered, but it did seem particularly fixated on Froseth. And of the two people who can actually understand Terran, because the book does not make it overly clear that Terran is a dialect of Primordial, it was only Darwin who was close enough to have heard it trying to say to Froseth that this was the first test. Be ready. Before it finished the job of crumbling into a small rock garden. Currently, Yusuf, who's a caravan of feed you're guarding en route to Gray's Inn, has left you guys to this because this is what he's paying you to do, and gone to chase after his horses. So there you are with Froseth feeling better, but, still the whole having
Slightly.
been knocked unconscious thing, and generally, ow.
Sad.
Have a nice nap.
Do you
You all right?
want me to hit you with another spell? I still have the staff.
I wouldn't complain.
All right. Going to cure wounds at first level. Spell card, I assume.
Please. Always good to have for reference.
Just let me pull up my cheat sheet real quick so I have my math done. Well, bonus HP.
Nice.
So did anybody else hear that at the end?
Hear what?
Yeah,
I heard rock noises.
I heard something, but it was a little faint.
Oh, I know what it said, and it said, "This is the first test of the fourth. Be prepared." I'm Froseth. I'm guessing that was directed towards you. I couldn't really tell, considering it was basically just a head on the ground at that point. But you were also on the ground, so
Yeah.
How many elements are you up to at this point?
Well, this would be the last.
Oh.
well, let's not
Oh,
tell.
boy.
Because I guess this was kind of our fault. Let's not let name.
Yusuf. I said it like
Thank
2 minutes ago.
Yes, you did, and I blanked because I was trying to remember what he said. Yeah, let's not tell Yusuf that this was kind of, sort of, maybe, possibly our fault.
Me?
Our favorite silver trouble magnet.
only. Well, kinda. Not really. Not. I mean.
Hmm.
It's not his fault, but he's still our favorite silver trouble magnet.
Do you
Oh,
want
like
to
he's the only one. Cough, cough, running off down the alley.
Hey, I know I'm a trouble magnet. I'm
I
saying
think
he's our favorite
well-
silver trouble magnet.
Okay, fair.
Should we go see how Yusuf is doing?
Yusuf, by this point, has gathered up his horses, and he's keeping a bit of a distance just to make sure you guys have everything in hand.
So, how many of these rocks are we gonna have to drag aside so we can get the cart through here?
To be fair, it's now mostly I mean, it's chunks. It's something you could, if you shift things a little bit, there's not huge chunks really, so it's not going to be anything I demand rolls for.
I'm gonna start doing
You
that.
just kind of went crumbly
Yeah.
at the end there, huh?
We'll start lifting then.
Is there anything to search?
Not really. No, it's a rock garden.
Okay.
Sigwell's gonna
Just
Sigwell's
thought
gonna
I'd
join
ask.
in
Lockhart, seriously.
well as he can.
Flitty is going to help and try and pick up the smaller pieces and flap, flap, flap. Maddie just like,
Worth asking. You know, gems are Earth, so
yeah.
Yeah.
But no, unfortunately, there is nothing gem-like in this particular setup. And yeah, Flitty manages to chunks of rock about his size in the time it takes the rest of you to completely clear the rest of the road.
Thank you, Flitty. Your help is greatly appreciated.
Yeah. And boops Darvin in the nose before settling in his favorite spot on Sigwell's hat.
You need to add more platforms to your hat.
Yeah. Like the line of your hat's gonna basically wind up being fairy dragon butt shaped at some point. I'm okay with it.
There is a little dip in the crown anyway, and it's just sort of Flitty hammock.
My
Up
God.
there.
The area is secure.
Yeah, so Yusuf wanders back with his horses.
Glad you found the horses. I would have been useless trying to track them down.
I am used to them. They do not normally have to run from giant walking rocks, but
Good thing you hired us, huh?
At least they ran.
yes, that is very true. I am not entirely sure what I would have done if this thing had come upon me, possibly thrown a bag of grain at it and tried to run away. How fast can a rock move, really?
Well, we don't have to find out, so it's
Faster than you would think.
Actually,
For rocks.
Remy, make me a deception check.
Oh, uh-oh.
Oh, Christ.
You are still the luckiest son of a bitch on earth because for one of the first times ever, I rolled a natural 1.
Oof.
So that smug-ass, smarmy comment goes right over this guy's massive head. Although you do probably have a couple of them glaring at you behind you, suspect.
yeah. Darwin's just like
I
Out
am
of character here.
gobsmacked
I'm
that someone's managed
confused.
to do something dumber than my usual nonsense.
What
Given you
What
just
did-
finished having the
say?
conversation about
I didn't hear.
about how Darwin had just finished saying maybe we don't bring this up too much because this thing was a test for process. So it was basically the fact that we were here behind its attack in the first place. And what does Remy do?
Good thing you hired us.
Yeah.
Okay, Sigvald does kind of knock his cane. If he's standing next to Remy, knocks his cane against her shin. Not hard enough.
Clank.
Thankfully, Yusuf is too busy trying to do temporary repair on the on the harness to really be paying much attention to what you lot are doing. Um, Manages it in reasonable style, and then goes, "Come, we can get another 3 miles before nightfall. There is not an inn for another 3-4 days, so we sleep rough. It's not the first time, will not be the last. Come on."
And
enough.
I'm in the wagon.
Clamber. Back on.
Did someone else take the lookout spot after that fight?
Remy?
Remy, you do it.
Okay.
The next 3 days are actually pretty calm. This is a good week and a half's ride you guys have got ahead of you. Gray's Inn is the largest geographically speaking, just because it's entirely plains, almost. Every now and then in the distance you see what might be a ranch house, but mostly you get nothing but wide rolling plains with grazing animals, herds of cows, horses, lots and lots of horses.
Hey,
Not
look,
moose.
all the no moose for
Yeah,
eternity.
no moose.
Infinite supplies of no moose.
Sigvald just looks at Hazel. No,
And Darvin, because
Blame
Darvin at
him.
one point or another went, "Hey, no moose."
Are you going to
It's entirely
explain?
Darvin's fault.
I am mystified. What is this raucous?
Well, you can agree they're not mooses.
A
right?
lot of things are not mooses.
Yeah. I point to a tree. Not moose.
Why a horse in particular?
You know, I've actually lost the. I've actually
be fair- to be fair,
lost
the-
track of the original event in my head.
To be fair,
Well-
We've been through so much
but
since.
that was when you were sailing back the first time. It was birdie, fishy, moose. No, that's a cow. No, that's actually a moose.
Oh yeah, yes. When we were sailing back after with Evan, and Evan was pointing at various things and pointed at. I wasn't really looking where he was pointing at the time, and he pointed at bird and fish, and those were, and he pointed at moose, and I assumed it wasn't a moose, but it turned out it actually was a moose.
Yeah,
Oh.
we actually have those around Golden
I-
Tail.
Yeah.
That's
Well, no. To be fair, you were still technically in the Star Coast Barony at that point. The bits that verge a little bit more into Cedar Grove territory, hence the trees. But
Oh yeah, I looked up. Oh, no, that actually is a moose. So not moose became a bit of a thing.
Yeah, any large thing that
Ah.
eats grass tends to become not moose to this guy.
I understand now. Thank you for clearing that up.
It's just a running gag.
One
Yeah.
of several.
Yes, we have several. Most of them at my expense, but
Hey, you're not the only one.
yeah. Mind this one and crockery.
Is why I'm never taking the hammer out inside a building ever again.
Never say never, but yes, in general.
and
You know what I mean.
Yes.
I have words that I do not wish to say.
Yes, welcome to the Cupcake Coterie, and understand that there will be similar jokes about you at some stage.
Oh, we yes.
Something will happen at some point, and they'll grab onto it.
Oh yeah,
And
we
we'll
did.
run with it, and it'll. Go
If
on.
we
Fred.
ever tease, if we ever joke, it's never meant in anyone's expense. Well, any of our expense.
All right. All right.
Oh, Clarity, did you want to not to lock it this time, but did you was there anything else you would needing to test out or try or whatnot
Um,
out of curiosity?
not anything that wouldn't spook the horses, I'm afraid.
Fair.
Yeah, let's save that for when we can actually get practice time. And Froseth isn't allowed to use the quarterstaff still.
And I don't want to waste anything just in case
Right.
it's needed.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Hmm.
I just figured I'd ask since, we've got a bit of
Thank
time.
you.
There is.
Well, Oh, sorry.
There's
Super.
actually something that I would like to practice, and I want one of you to slap me in the face, and I cast Blade Ward. Let me bring up
Does
the.
that work for bludgeoning?
Yeah, it works for bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing. Let me bring
okay.
up the spell card. Boop, there we are.
Somebody that's not me do it.
I want to see how
Remy?
well it works.
Okay.
I'll after no one steps forward, I'll just smack.
All right.
It's unarmed attack. I'm guessing.
Yes, I mean, just in case you manage to roll a nat 1 or you just miss him somehow.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, that absolutely hits.
Biff.
20.
So what's sorry, roll damage because it's resistance, which means you take half damage. So yeah, you take 2 points of bludgeoning
All right.
damage, which, to be fair, because Froseth is a dragonborn and he does have claws, came very close to being slashing damage.
Oh, that was a good hit, and I think it worked. Okay. I don't think I need to test that.
Oh, good,
again.
you're not unconscious.
To be fair, one of the reasons I flagged up on Tumblr a while ago the post about it detailing that every magician has their own style of casting was because if you emote doing, say in this case, you trace a sigil of warding in the air, then they know. And
Alright.
it also reminds that in cases where you don't want anyone to see you doing magic, you need to make a sleight of hand check.
Okay. All right.
But we'll assume you do that.
We'll assume that right before I said slap me in the face, I kind of just went.
That's not exactly a sigil of warding, but it'll work. Okay. Yeah.
Well, that's like when I did the thunder wave and went, sorry, Remy. I just kind of went, boom, and
Yeah.
that was part of it. So
Yeah.
Giant.
the hand movement was really unnecessary, and it was just me being overly dramatic. But hey, I'm a bard. What do you expect?
All right, but yeah, just all right. Slap me in the face. Come on.
Put him up. Put him up. I can lick you and your whole family. Oh,
But-
Remy, sorry about hitting you during that whole thing. I didn't really have much of a choice. It's kind of a big boom.
Well, let's not make a habit of it.
Right. I mean, it was the best thing I could have done in the circumstance. And
Yeah, you can see him being more panicked than he probably should be at chucking something like that at somebody in full armor who was, quite frankly, at that point entirely unharmed.
yeah.
And the look on Lindira's face, that's the look Clary's wearing right now.
Yeah. Yeah. No. It's a thing. I did a thing. It went bad. It went bad. Yeah.
And
Darwin
Hazel
now
is now.
has a Hazel.
Yeah, Darvin has now gained a hazel sloth clump.
Gerp, gerp, gerp.
You're fine. Pet.
It works. Air.
I'm loosening my hold and pet him. Slowly mussing his hair into something ridiculous.
You know, I think you actually made it better.
Yay! And I'm going to detach from him and go back over and start using clarity as a lean-to again.
Sorry.
Lean to-
I forgot to mute. Oh,
That's
I
okay.
know.
Alright.
That'd be more leaning post. If it was a lean-to, you'd be sheltering under her, and I don't think that would work very well.
I was trying to figure that out. I was like,
She's my lean-to.
between the two of them, Clarity might be smaller.
Well,
Alright.
not short, not
Finally.
shorter, but definitely less sturdy.
Anyway, continuing on.
Yes, 3 days of this effectively pass. You've got evenings by the campfire. Yusuf has brought the necessary supplies, so there's not much that needs adding. But of course, a couple of you have got some magically generated fresh things, and Hazel at some point breaks out this basket, which she opens, and it contains a warm, fresh baked loaf of bread.
I have also pulled out the cranberry
Apple
preserve
preserves.
thing.
Yeah, this is her second breakfast on like the second
Yes.
day out.
Yes. I was hoping you brought those. I was gonna ask. That's awesome. Yes.
Those have not left my storage.
And that hey, isn't it the jar that you didn't break with your head?
Hey!
Just say it and remember it. It wasn't your fault. That wasn't
And I'm
your
just
fault.
stumping a piece of bread with the preserves on it into his face.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, can you give me a dex check to see whether you end up actually eating or wearing it?
Okay.
Oh boy.
Me? Dex check or
No, him.
Yes.
Wearing.
Oh,
No, no, directly in face.
Okay.
One of those situations where you were unfortunately on an M, so your mouth was closed, so it sort of crumples up and basically cranberry apple preserves right up your nose.
I will be sneezing for the next 5 minutes.
Sigwald uses prestidigitation to try and wipe out his face. Here, let me get that for you.
I'm
Yeah.
still sneezing.
Okay.
I'm still sneezing. You're gonna have to wait a minute.
I probably end up with like some cranberry mucus on my shirt somehow.
Ew.
Probably, yeah.
Sorry.
And I'm just preparing another bit of bread and just holding it near Darwin.
No.
Don't cough out this one!
Flitty takes off from Sigwald's hat, lands on Hazel's shoulder, debates for a minute, and then grabs the end of her hair bow and yoink! And whoop. Yeah, hair everywhere, and Flitty is now
Like-
circling the wagon with the hair ribbon, very long, thick hair ribbon as a kind of a streamer.
That was a thing.
I have set the bread in my lap because and have assuming that this is around the campfire. I have fallen back and I am just cackling.
Sigwald's like following Flitty, and eventually he goes, "It's in Draconic. Flitty, would you give that back to Hazel, please?"
In a minute, she deserves this.
At some point mid laugh, one last cranberry goes flying.
Who has to
I'm
next
equal
take?
parts.
I have no idea where it went. It just twing.
Who needs to
I am
dodge?
2 parts amused, 1 part disgusted.
Actually, Flitty lands on top of Remy's head, trying to keep the hair ribbon out of Remy's face, and Furseth, Sigwald, and Darvin understand it when he says, "I'm sorry, everybody's silly. Sometimes you just gotta fight silly with silly." And leans forward, so looking at her upside down, boops her in the nose, and then flies and gives Hazel her hair ribbon back.
Thank you.
Can't argue with that approach.
Clarity, help!
Oh, all right.
Good luck, Clarity. You'll get the hang of it eventually.
It's fairly easy to tie Hazel's hair the way she likes it, to a point anyway. The instinct is to actually tame the hair, but Hazel doesn't like it that way, so you do that, and it's far too confining.
It just inflates back. You fix it.
Floof, 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 floof. Okay.
Happiest half elf in existence, that's me.
Tomorrow.
Yes, it's basically 3 days of this. It's kind of a bonding-ish kind of time, really. So if you just want to give a quick, summary of how you spend the days, again, very brief, who you talk to, and if there's anything specific that you're asking of someone else.
Since I've never been there, I would probably spend some time talking with Sigwald actually about Gray.
Gray's Inn.
Gray's Inn.
Gray's Inn.
Just because I've never been there, so, and I'm curious.
I'd be listening in too.
Nothing terrible, just sort of like the tourist rundown,
All right.
Yeah, to be fair, there's not a whole lot of tourist about Gray's Inn. And as I said, it's the largest in terms of geography, but one of the smallest in terms of population, unless you count horses. There's very few actual towns. What you have are collections of ranch houses, usually run by extended families, which are largely self-sufficient, but they're not what you'd call a town. The only place in Gray's Inn that really comes close is the capital, and that's partially because they turned the gigantic manor house into a coachman's inn. It's run by the barons, well, Baron and Baroness, are actually halflings, named Grey, Ami and Laurent Grey.
Oddly enough.
Yep, and these halflings have been running the barony for quite some time, and one has to wonder what King Dragon Asshat III thinks about this, but there is the passingly curious fact that Sigwald can actually confirm, he's probably one of the only ones who actually knows this, is that livestock is not Gray's Inn's most lucrative, or at least not most important, trading item. It's information. The extended Grey family and various of its ancillary second cousins 3 times removed by a couple of marriages and a death, that kind of thing. They are essentially a spy network sandwiched between the rest of Baronsphere and the various countries of Equitas. So if there's obviously there's some stuff they don't know, but when it comes to the more mundane political structures, they usually have their ways of finding things out. But yeah, in terms of actual tourism, even Gray's Inn, the capital, is the large manor house, which is the coachman's inn, which means massive amount of tavern and a few residences to keep everything running. That's it. There's no
Yeah.
real metropolitan areas.
Well, I mean, that is pretty much what I was going for. I just figured, hey, we've got somebody who already has information on where we're going. Why not get the information?
Yeah, and I'm just giving the rundown on
Mhm.
what he would have said in a more Sigwaldish way.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
I figured.
I don't
I-
have the Sigwald voice down quite yet.
I am not going to quote all that in character.
Yeah, you don't have
Please
to.
don't. And okay, yeah. I mean, that's the main thing. For me, just basically that, and I would take some time myself, just composing, jotting things down. The usual.
Mhm.
Always trying to come up with new ideas, new lyrics, new lines. Rock, shock.
Where clarity goes, I follow.
Yeah.
Yes, I kind of figure for Hazel it's praying, shadowing clarity, and being a goofball.
Go with the Tuesday.
Yes.
Let's see. Sigwald is probably at some point tried to approach Clarity and ask if she wanted to compare notes with him on like the subject of magic and spells or anything.
Oh, yes, definitely. I
All right.
would love to. I actually had some questions. You went to the university in Belarus, yeah?
I did, yes.
What's it like? I have always sort of thought of that it might be nice to study at a place, but I wasn't sure whether they accepted people like me.
The metropolitan area is generally it's what if you're worried about being prejudiced against for being a tiefling, you actually encounter that less in the metropolitan area. But as far as I can tell, I am not a tiefling myself, so I really don't know. But
Fair enough.
I should think that they'd be glad to take on someone like you if you're interested in study.
Also, keep in mind that for a fact that non-students can use the library. You know this because Andromeda's
Yes.
not a student, but she's
All right.
constantly in the library.
And I add that also, if you don't want to enroll as a student, the library is public.
Oh,
Anyone can come in and study there if they want to.
wow. That would be a change of pace from sneaking in and taking what I want.
Yes, you just get to walk in and take what you want, but be sure to give it back.
Right. Give it
There's always a
back.
catch.
Unless you're if you're taking a book, it's like any other library. Give it back after about a month of renting.
Oh,
That
right.
sort of thing. But
That'll
but
be a novelty.
you can just
Might give that a try.
but also there's no issue with taking notes. You can just take a bunch of books off the shelves, copy notes from them on your own paper, and that's that.
That's incredible. I should have gone to Belarus sooner, but yes. Let's compare some notes. I have some my handwriting is all over the place on this notebook. Paper
No
is
worries, no
kind of
worries.
better.
Generally, the general thing that happens when you're a magician is that you can never understand anyone's magical handwriting but your own.
That's yeah, that's good to know, and just sort of like, oh, look at this, and
Yeah, you'll note that Clarity's got a couple of different books. One is clearly not one she wrote. That would be the one that Heseltine gave you. And one is her own. And both are a little dog-eared and battered, which might remind you of what Twilly gave you before you left.
Right.
And she did say that it's the kind of thing you can find in the Belarus open-air market if you ask around.
Yes. Well, and you know, when we get to Belarus, how would you feel about going on a little shopping trip?
I like shopping.
Specifically for a book of enduring of your own.
Oh, is that one there that you have?
Yes, this book right here, I got this from Twilly, and I'm using it as my new spell book. The thing about this is that anything you write in it, this book can be dropped in mud, thrown in rivers, etc., etc. Take all sorts of battering and punishment. The ink doesn't wear out.
Oh, fantastic. I take a lot of battering myself, so that would be a good thing.
I get the
It
feeling
was
you're
just
going.
the once,
I get the
said I
feeling
was
you're-
sorry.
I've been smothered by a bug. Thank you very much.
I'm teasing.
I get the feeling you're going to make use of something like this, just as much, possibly even more so than I will. So as soon as we get to Belarus, we are going to go to the open market and see if we can find a book of enduring for you.
Oh, well, I will look forward to it. These are very old books.
And I just thought of one of the other things I might do is talk to Remy a little bit about figuring out some manner or means of avoiding friendly fire in future.
Well,
Realizing Remy's military background and realizing I'm still new to magic and not really like positioning and tactics and just being more mindful of where I'm doing stuff, especially with Remy having been affected by that now too.
well, basically, you do that before I run at him, or it, or whatever thing we are going to be inevitably fighting next. Like, what did this spell do? It just like,
Big
how does
wave
the
sound,
area of the
just
effect?
boom.
It was Thunder Wave is effectively you need to make a whoever's in the line of fire. It's a 10-foot cube out from.
No, so it's like a
from
cone
path.
out.
No, not a cone. Cube. So
Okay.
it's like
Not that.
it's like a line charge attack that lasts for like 10 feet.
Okay.
10 feet out, 10 feet across. Basically, anybody in its path needs to make a Constitution saving throw. If you fail the Constitution saving throw, you take full damage and are shoved 10 feet backwards. If you succeed at the Constitution saving throw, which you did, you only take half damage and you stay where you are.
Okay. So that's certainly that. If presumably, he describes how he does it. So
I would describe to Remy exactly. Well, it's like a 10-foot just wall of boom.
So that certainly does have its uses if we have to run at a bunch of people who are also running at us.
Right.
You just need to warn me so I can
Right. And
step first, and then you do it, and not
Right.
warn me as you're doing it.
Sorry.
And then I could run at the people while
Right.
they're already knocked on their asses, and that
Right.
works out much better for everyone involved, except
Yeah.
for them.
Right. Well, and that's the type of, and that's one of the things I've got. I've got a number of other things, and I would basically just a lot of back and forth about like, here's some of the skills, here's some of the spells I've got, here's some of the things I can do, and basically just try to, figure out how not to kill my own party. again.
Yeah,
And that was in and
yeah,
that was
as Remy chuckles at that, one look at Darvin's face indicates that no, he's actually not kidding.
completely serious.
Just need to be a little bit careful and not, freak out, even if there's potentially a giant stone monster.
Yeah, I kind of panicked.
Yeah, don't panic is step one.
I mean, in my own defense.
No
at least-
offense.
Oh, none taken. But in my defense, at least I made certain that if I had to hit somebody, it was the one in the armor. I have learned at least that much.
Minor problem with a lightning attack.
No,
Well, that
not
was-
not lightning.
Oh,
Thunder.
okay,
It's a
I take that
different.
back then.
As in,
Sonic damage. Out of
Okay,
character,
yeah, I take
sonic.
that back.
Out of
Comment
character
back
speaking,
then.
sonic damage.
Okay, that's fair.
big boom, big boom. I wouldn't have done lightning. No lightning metal. No. No.
Well, we have that covered.
And I didn't think sneezing feathers was going to accomplish a damn thing at that point.
Yeah, he keeps going on about the feather sneezing. Sigwald and Remy will note.
It's been mentioned more than one occasion.
Is Sigvald involved in? Do you guys want Sigvald to be involved in this, or is it just a one-on-one?
This is sort of campfire wagon chat. So you've got to imagine that unless they specified, anyone would actually be able to hear it.
All right.
Yep.
Well, Sigvald does lean in and ask, feather sneezing.
Oh, yeah. Oh boy, yeah. That's kind of what started this whole thing. Well, my part of it. Yeah. Well, because we were at the Baron, the manor that we were at, that we went to, and the big flappy thing. Well, this is before all that.
Okay.
And I was performing, I was playing, I was bored, and well, if I remember correctly, basically the Baron himself was sitting there looking basically like a puffed up rooster, and the head of the staff was literally henpecking everybody, and that kind of got stuck. The image of the giant rooster and the giant hen, it got I got stuck in my head. I'm playing, and yeah. Next thing I know, there are people that start sneezing feathers, and they got upset and threw me out on my butt, and they didn't pay me.
Well, aside from the getting it thrown out on your butt part, that was brilliant.
Yeah, it's only happened once.
I'm a little disappointed that it hasn't happened again.
Well,
I did intend on finding out what happened.
Hey, make me sneeze feathers next time.
I can't. I don't. Okay.
If I had to guess, it had to do with very strong visualization and emotion.
What, boredom?
Boredom can be an emotion. It's related to annoyance.
I didn't think I was that bored, but okay. Anyway.
And also, it was poetically brilliant, poetically exquisite.
And to
Well,
be fair,
I mean-
that would tick something for Darvin, because that is what being a bard's all about.
Exactly. Yeah, that's why I was like, well, okay, well, I am a bard, so, huh.
Yes.
Huh. Well, anyway. Yeah, that's where the feathers came in.
Good. Then you can do it on command now?
Probably not. I haven't tried. It didn't seem like useful. Besides, the one and only time I did it, it got me thrown out of my ass.
In the future, just see if you can do it to me. I want to see how this works.
I think Darvin's best response would be, with you people around, I will never get that bored!
Yeah, this is one of the oddest requests he's ever had. That's why I'm just like, I'm like, okay, I guess.
Do it.
Now?
You've got these.
Is Clarity actually chanting?
Yeah.
I'm not bored enough. I only did it when I was bored. I'm not bored.
Will you ever be that bored?
I was around.
What we do, we stick him in a corner and have him visualize for a while.
What did I do? Oh my god!
Out of character for a moment, I could see this being a really good reflavoring of Tasha's hideous laughter for Garden.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. That actually, like about 5 minutes ago, that thought actually popped into my brain.
We'll have a conversation, okay? But let's have that one off camera.
Yeah.
For now, I'm having far too much fun with Darfin going, why is my own party asking me to make them sneeze feathers? What is my life right now?
I can make you glow purple. That I can do.
I stand up. Do the thing.
Dex check.
All right, I
I'm-
cast
no.
fire on.
No, first of all, because I'm decreeing that you guys are in the wagon while this is going on. So Hazel makes it. Hazel makes a dex save.
Oh, for standing up.
14.
Yeah, Hazel wobbles alarmingly, but manages to keep her feet. Just about, at least in part because Flitty has sort of grabbed a bit of her hair and is just...
If we're in the cart, Sigwell's going, well, wait. Not in the cart. This kind of wild magic would be bad for the feed.
Wild. I'm a bard. It's not wild.
Well,
It's fairy fire, not the feathers.
oh, okay. Oh,
I said I could make
that.
Hazel blue or purple. Look at that.
Oh, if it's just that, then fair enough. Go ahead.
And Hazel apparently wants to glow purple. Although this bright might not show up very well. We should probably wait until like it gets a little darker. The effect would be much brighter.
Fine. Sitting myself down.
I hope she forgets by that point. And then I'm saying, I say that under my breath, and I'm like, oh, this is Hazel. She'll never forget.
Not if you say. Yeah, she won't forget if you say that.
Damn.
Leaning right up next to him. Darvin.
Do I need to roll a? Do I need to make a dex check to reach over and just go yoink, Riven?
Given she's leaned right up against you, actually make me a sleight of hand check.
Ooh! I just like the. Yeah, I'm just making the dice decide. This is fun. Nope. That was a 2. That was a nat 2.
Yeah, that is Darvin reaching for the wrong end of the ribbon, and thankfully these horses are not going very fast because Darvin, thump out of the cart.
Whoa! Shit! Ah!
Darvin!
Ow!
Sigwell leaps over to the edge of the cart like it's an emergency or something.
You've got use of stopping the cart. I've been listening to this for 3 days now.
Sorry, that was my fault. I'm okay mostly, and I quickly climber back up and get into the cart. I'm not gonna.
Yes, you, green ribbon doof woman. You stop bullying your friend. You stop it, your god would be very disappointed in you, and so would your mother's. And turns around and,
He was there.
slaps the reins across the horses.
Shrinking.
That one got me.
Shrinking.
I got
Shrinking.
splash damage. I'm just.
So
This has been the dumbest thing.
it has. Just briefly, Froseth and Remy, what while the 3 days of this is going on, what are you guys doing?
That's what we wanted to do.
Yeah, no,
There you go.
I'm perfectly happy with that. You know, have fun. I just want to know what the two sensible people have been doing all this time.
Oh God.
So, Froseth?
Well, Froseth, after the run-in with the Earth Elemental, normally he's quiet. He's probably quieter than normal. Spending as much time as he can meditating, trying to find out whatever he can about these supposed trials, because he's worried for two main reasons. First of all, as far as he's concerned, he did nothing during that fight. He chipped it and got knocked unconscious. He did not pass it. Everyone else did it for him. And two, if he doesn't know when something's going to happen, even though this thing focused on him, if it happens in a crowded area, other people might be put in danger by him being somewhere.
Fair enough. Make me a wisdom check.
Wisdom. $14.
It's still a bit vague. It's pretty clear that you're not quite getting the attunement yet. But the feeling you get is that it's not necessarily about beating the things as it is about something else, maybe understanding the things or something behind what they are and what they do that you're just not catching at the moment. But it's definitely not that you have to be the one to take them down. There's lessons you're supposed to be learning. You apparently got the approximate gist of the first one, whatever that was.
Okay.
And it's just your wisdom check was not quite high enough to. You get the feeling that you did have the lesson, but thinking back, you can't entirely think about. You can't entirely decide what of the many things that you figured out was actually the thing that you were meant to learn out of that experience.
Okay.
Also, sort of the night before the third full day, your dreams are a little vague and not overly visual, but there's a sort of a scratching sound. That's about all you got.
Okay. Hmm.
You do anything with that, or do I move on?
Not for now, no.
Okay.
Just leave it at that.
Remy, over these 3 days, what is she doing while Sigwald and Clarity are discussing magic, and Sigwald is sort of quasi-mediating as Hazel and Clarity try to bully Darvin into making Hazel sneeze feathers.
I'm not bullying, I'm enabling.
Okay. Okay, Hazel bullying, Clarity enabling. Either way, you've all by the third day, you've all been you both been told off by Yusuf.
I don't think there's anything pressing to do. She's not.
Well, no, that's I'm just
Nosing it out,
asking
so she's
color
just-
wise. You know, is she participating? If so, you know,
Yeah, she's participating, bantering, but not like
not
prying
doing, not
into
doing
anybody's
anything
backstory.
particularly stupid.
or that.
There's appropriate time to be, you know, training if you guys want to in the evenings.
Sigvald is probably kind of like setting up like alarm perimeters around the around campsites wherever they stop.
Um,
Things like that.
yeah, can you do you have the spell card for that one? Or
All right, just a moment.
oh,
Let's see.
either that or I can actually it's probably quicker if I look it up because I've got the book right here.
Oh, here's the card.
Okay, let's see. Yeah, the problem. Yeah,
I-
no larger than a 20-foot cube.
Okay.
That's
All right.
Not gonna be big
not
enough.
giving you a terrible lot of warning at a campsite.
Well, in the event that they do find a
Oh.
campsite site where there's only one direction of approach,
You're in the open plains.
yeah, if that's the case, then no.
Yeah, and it'll probably work in like you'll be getting to an inn in a couple of days, and that's gonna be that will be the kind of place you could do alarm, or if
Mhm.
there was any kind of forest. But you know this land. This land
Yeah.
is wide open
Peaceful.
plains as far as the eye can see.
Yeah, it's
And
just like-
Darvin just crashes out without any hesitation whatsoever. Doesn't bother. Not bothered by any like and it's just out.
Unless it's his turn on watch, because
Right.
let's face it, part of being caravan guard is
Yep.
standing watches. So
Mhm.
how are you guys setting up the watches? I figure it would be 3 teams of 2.
I'll take.
Yeah.
I'm generally probably going to be taking first because I'm probably going to be up composing and checking
I'm usually
instruments and
up
such.
late too, so
Yeah.
I
So we'll
can
take first
watch
watch?
with them.
Okay. Let's see.
Froseth
Sigvald-
is usually up early, so he'll take last.
Hmm.
Sigwald also late to bed, early to rise, so he's like probably kind of like trying to sleep through Darvin's composing, and then joins Froseth for last watch.
Well, when I say composing, I mean more writing, not.
Okay,
Yeah, he
all
wouldn't
right.
be
Playing.
actually playing. So it would be Clarity and Darvin first watch.
Mhm.
That leaves Hazel and Remy for second watch, which makes sense because Remy, being a military individual, is very good at, okay, I've had some sleep, I can be awake for a few hours and then go straight back to sleep without any problem. And Hazel crashes out basically whenever she wants anyway, so, and our 2 early risers as last watch. Okay.
Of course, there's a reason why Darvin just passes right out, but nobody seems to to question it. So
Well, yeah, I don't think anybody's going to question that kind of general good sense.
well, no, I mean, yeah. Character sheet reason.
Yes.
Oh boy,
Oh, this is nice.
Yeah,
you did great. Oh my
that-
goodness.
Again, this is something that is absolutely phenomenal from Antheus suggested the software to me ages ago, and it was basically the best 10 quid I ever spent. So,
Julie. See. Oh, there it is. Oop.
okay, so yeah, towards the end of the 3rd day, you find a spot to camp that's there's a herd of horses, but they basically stay to their side of the road and keep themselves to themselves. Yusuf treats them to a little bit of the good feed, which he's obviously been feeding his own horses because he bought it. He can technically do what he wants with it as long as he delivers what he said he would to the farmsteads in general. So and he's perfectly happy just plonking himself in his feed sacks and passing right out because again, taking watches is what he's paying you people to do.
Mm-hmm.
But he by this point, you've been, because this is technically the 4th day of travel, because your first day was the Earth Elemental incident. But around about the 4th day, he decides that all of you have been mostly good. There's a little bit much of the bullying and the silliness, but I suppose one must pass the time somehow, and it has been something of entertaining. So, and pulls out a couple of bottles of what Hazel recognizes as her mom and Mama's blackberry wine.
Ooh.
Not too much, you have watches, but is light stuff.
Thank
Is
you.
for with dinner. Poke. Dishes out stew and basically leaves you guys to whatever conversation you're going to be having towards the towards the end of the evening. This has been the day after Furseth's dreams of scratching noises. So he's been quiet for the last several days and is looking particularly thoughtful today. I don't know whether or not he is partaking of the blackberry wine.
Sigvald might actually lean over to Froseth since he has been the one taking watches with him anyways, and asks, I haven't known you for very long, but it seems that you're being even more quiet than usual. Is there something you want to talk about, or would you rather keep it stirring in your own head?
Not really sure. Let's put it a simple way. The whole mention of trials has kind of invaded my thoughts for the days.
We'll say for the sake of argument that Yusuf is leaving you guys to it and having his own dinner so you guys can have some privacy.
Trials?
What?
What do you mean?
What Darwin heard from the Earth Elemental? That was very much meant for me.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And apparently it's not done. So, I don't know how you exactly mean that, but I mean, if nothing else, the uncertainty of what is coming is definitely pressing on my own mind. I mean, not for me personally, but I mean, I like you. I give a damn. So, if something's coming, I want to have your back.
Well, I appreciate that.
We will make sure you do not go squish.
Is there anything in particular that's bothering you about these trials?
I mean, just the very nature of a trial. Easy. So yeah, it's just the fact they exist.
You mean, are you anxious about succeeding or failing? Anything like that?
Partially. More worried about others getting hurt because of me.
Well, I mean, if you're worried about us, I mean, we knew what we signed up for.
Not just you. What if something happens and we're in the middle? We're back at Hearthhome. I know it's going for me, but shit happens.
Of course, Hazel probably at that point has mental image of Skylar going full on mini paladin and trying to prevent something from happening to her big brother and getting herself really messed up.
And given how protective
Exactly.
everyone is of everyone else there, yikes.
Yeah.
And they've gone hypersonic again.
Oh no. Oh no.
The horses,
I just feel my ears pop.
The horses across the road have actually started milling in the direction of away.
My ears have popped.
Puts a hand over Hazel's mouth.
Breathe, Hazel. Down. Down.
In all
Slowly
fairness, though, you
deflating.
guys are not going to be back at Hearthhome for weeks.
No. That was just like a worst case example.
Of course, in the middle of Belarus open air market would really suck.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
okay. I mean, all I can say is, regardless of what happens, we've got your back, and we're obviously going to do everything we can to either help or, we're going to do everything we can to
Damage control,
So-
I think, is the word you're looking for.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you. Austin. Thank you.
That probably from Flitty.
Thank you, Flitty. Damage control.
Because Flitty has, for the moment, abandoned his position on Sigwell's hat and done the curling up around Froseth's neck thing. In that you smell sad and worried, so I'm going to be here.
Sigvald's going to try to be introspective and thinking about other people's feelings and what they might be worried about. He said, you also said you were worried about getting us involved. Is there also a concern about we might interfere with the test somehow by...
You guys remember Nora's test of worth far too well for that.
I'm not worried about that. I don't know. It's just
Of something like this happening in, say, middle of Goldendale?
it's a possibility. That's really the biggest worry is involving innocence. Like you guys know what's going on, are more than capable, or more capable than I am.
Hey, you're
It's not
perfectly
true.
capable.
Look, if you look, okay. Here's the thing: if you weren't who you were, we wouldn't be here. You wouldn't have survived that, and so, because you are who you are and the way that you are, you've got us backing you up. We are. I mean, you have us. You can use. I mean, how do I put this? Fuck it. You can use us to help get through the trials. I mean, that's what we're here for.
Wisdom check from Froseth again.
Nine.
There's something there. There's absolutely something in what Darwin has just said, but Hazel's still mildly hypersonic, and
Struggling.
it's one of those things where I'm gonna have to meditate on what he's just said, because that's something that feels like something.
And it's like this isn't my thing, so I can't quite get the word right. But I know what I want to say, but I can't quite get it because it's your thing and not my thing, and I don't have the context. But if you've got a thing that you got to do, we're here to help you.
No, I understand that, and I really appreciate it. It's worries I'm not gonna be rid of until this is over, basically.
And that's fair. I mean, I think I had to do when we went back to the Baron and dealt with that stuff there, and I had you to help me.
Yeah.
To me, it's maybe not quite as much on the line per se. I mean, I don't know what it all entails, so maybe there is. I don't know, but it's to me, it's a similar thing. It's like I had y'all, you have us, so.
Sigwald's going to say to himself, just going off of Darvin's tangent, is that if it wanted to test you alone, it would have come for you when you were alone.
It would have created the instance.
Wouldn't it have?
Yeah. It would have created a situation where it had me alone.
Right. Yeah. Well, there you go.
That's not what this is about. It's not me alone, anyway.
Or at least that one wasn't.
Yeah.
So you didn't. I mean, look. I mean, okay, yeah, it might have been better if it had whacked Remy upside the head, considering the arm. No offense, Remy. You're a paladin. That's kind of what you do.
True.
But I mean, better you, Froseth, than Clarity or Sigwald. You know, I mean,
yeah,
or Hazel. You know, you were you were where you needed to be. I guess. I'm probably putting this really badly, and I'm sorry, but again, it's not my thing. So.
And Froseth, if you doubt yourself, I mean, just remember that all of us have had their bad days or their off days. I do remember a dagger accidentally sticking out of your back not that long ago.
Speaking of that, we should train together so that doesn't happen again.
Yeah, I agree. Yes,
I see Remy getting increasingly more concerned because Darvin's killed 2 of them. Clarity is hit Frozen with a dagger, and she's like,
Yeah,
I've been almost killed by the party twice already.
To be fair,
I didn't got knocked out when you did it, but it was pretty damn close.
To be fair, Clarity, that was a very not from the target. That was a well-played shot.
Well, it would have been a well-placed shot if it had hit the thing that I was aiming for. So,
okay,
and Sigvald's just at this point says, general situation is that you keep an eye on what is in front of and behind your target.
well,
Isn't that right, Remy?
Well,
I was between
depends.
the target.
Yes. So if that's the situation, don't take the shot. I would say.
Well,
to be fair,
that also
it's
depends.
narrow. It was a narrow passageway where we didn't have much maneuvering room. So, usually I'm a better shot than that.
Loads better.
At which point Flitty raises his head and going, besides, that even without the mistake, that and actually badly pronounced and struggling common barnacle zombie and points at Hazel.
Yep.
She said it.
Yep.
I don't know the other
that's
word.
accurate.
It
That's
was hitting really bad, and the lady with the tentacles coming out of her stomach had magic, and you think that the squidgy thing with the 2 long legs was bad. You didn't see the tentacle lady in the thing. I don't like talking in common. It makes my mouth hurt.
Yeah, it was.
We're fine.
No,
That
that was
was-
draconic.
That was. That was. It's okay, Flitty. You're right.
So
Yeah.
she had to try and kill it.
It was. There was no. Not taking the shot wasn't an option at the time. So.
Well,
In an ideal situation, you're absolutely right, but it was a less than ideal situation.
Yeah. Our ideal situation was the whole thing with the eyeball and the time I had to run around with the crossbow. Me mentioning
The off-brand beholder.
To be fair,
have
if
that, and I'm putting around in the bag for it.
if I'm aware the shot is coming, I can move. I'm even capable of catching projectiles. I just
not when
need
they're
to.
directly behind you.
I just need to know, be able to react. So it's getting to know know how the other person fights.
This is the whole reason why I was talking to you, Ren.
Hazel is currently waving around a crossbow. Okay. Froseth, having the highest passive perception, he hears it first. Remember that scratching sound?
Yeah.
It's actually in real life now.
Uh-oh.
Somewhere in the tall grass.
Uh-oh.
Unfortunately, you're basically surrounded by tall grass, so that's not 100% helpful. Eventually, when he does that, I mean, he's got the dragon next, so you sort of see.
It's
that
just like the paused look aside.
It's kind of a miniature meerkat kind of a.
Yeah.
Well-
Whoa, wait a minute. I know that look.
Let's go.
Sigwald knows the look of alarm anywhere, so he immediately slaps mage armor on himself.
Okay. Yeah, you guys all start hearing this faint scratching sound. Clarity, Hazel, and Sigwald, to them it sounds kind of like relatively large chicken feet.
The hell? Is there giant chickens on the plains out here, Sigwald?
No, there are not
No.
giant chickens on the plains.
There are no giant
Make
chickens around
me
here.
for Sigwald, make me a nature check. 'Cause he
Okay.
knows the territory.
All right. See? 20.
There have on occasion been cockatrice problems.
It might be a cockatrice.
I signal to Yusuf and say it might not be anything, but maybe get down.
I'm going to be setting up my bed and he holds up a little paring knife and a chunk of wood I whittle.
Yes, but
But-
there
but-
might be trouble. So
Yes, and that is why I'm staying here
okay,
with my whittling knife.
just with it. Just
There might be a little trouble.
I will smite you.
Sigwald
Actually,
groans
I will-
at that one.
I will probably more than smite you because
Uh-oh. What if we unleash?
Calculating. I'm dead.
What do you
Reticulating
do?
swine.
yeah. Out of the tall grass comes. Let's pull the descriptions here. They basically look like some really fucked up necromancer stitched together the weirdest parts of lizard, bat, and chicken.
What?
It's
Ugh.
it's
hell are those?
it's relatively large for a demon chicken, but it's some kind of demon chicken. And yes, Sigwald knows what these are. These are cockatrices, and there are 10 of them.
Blasphemy chicken!
And given the time, we will take our 5-minute break now, and when we come back, we will roll initiative against the petrifying demon chickens.
Oh boy.
10, 10. I'll be back.
Yeah, I need a minute. Holy shit. I am. We're screwed.
All right,
See you in
I'll be
5.
back.
And we're back. The group has settled in their campsite only to be effectively assaulted by 10 cockatrices. I would like you all to roll initiative.
Okay. All right.
4.
Let's see. Where's
22.
7.
Hang on.
Oh my god. I think everybody who's rolled that low is
14.
very much demon chicken. So okay, hang on. So that's
14.
16.
Wow.
so that's
Nat 3s for both of us.
Freaking blasphemy chickens are big distractions.
At least Froseth's on point. And since it's been a couple been some days,
yeah, roll
may I
while
roll?
I'm
portents?
while I'm doing the cheat sheet, by all means do just let me okay, so
Okay.
that's
Whoop. And all right, those are going to be my portents for the day.
and of course they both wind up being entirely average.
Hmm.
So that's one.
Um,
be fair, there is something to be said for the healer going at the end of the initiative order.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so top of the round, Froseth, you. Well, let's actually set you guys up first.
Yeah.
Which probably means I should set up where the cockatrices are. I've actually, while you guys have been doing your due, I've been actually finding everything I need to find. So.
Ooh. Wow. That's just lovely.
Oh, the cockatrices. Okay, so where do people
That's-
want to be right now?
Let's
That's
see.
9. You got 2 of them on the same square.
1, 2, 3, what? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you
There you
go.
go.
Because I tried to put it on that one, but I guess I must have. And I still haven't changed some of your tokens. Really need to do that. Okay, so where do people want to be?
I think I want to. I think I want to. I want to be in like sitting around the campfire, but near the road. So probably like around there, where I just put a blip.
Okay, so there we go.
I'm probably closer to the wagon and also close to Hazel.
So let's put Clarity sort of there. Actually, Ranger on a square, and Hazel sort of, unfortunately, probably fairly near the cockatrices. Rest of you?
Around the campfire, wherever.
Yeah.
So
Probably on the other side of the campfire from where the others mostly are. So
sort of.
by the big mass on the left.
Okay,
And
so
then-
Darvin, you're muted.
With the spaces left, that's probably going to put me right about there.
Lucky Darvin. Actually, we'll put him
Well,
back.
that's where I was mentioning.
Oh, that's
Oh,
where
that's
you
where you
were
wanted
gonna
to be?
So
Okay, well then Darwin could be there. Yeah.
yeah, we'll scratch you up by the fire because there is starting to be a little bit of a nip in the air as you're
Mm-hmm.
coming fairly on to autumn. So okay, top of the round, Froseth.
Okay. Yeah. Let's I guess move up to a close one here.
So that one that way.
Yeah, and I'm going to try attacking it with my fire comma first.
Okay, go ahead.
9.
They're actually relatively small little buggers and fairly quick, or quicker than you expected them to be. You've never had the experience that some of these people have had of chasing chickens round the yard, and it manages to evade your fire comma, and in a moment of slightly embarrassed realization, you realize that Skylar, who has spent much of her very early childhood chasing chickens, could probably do this better than you could.
Okay. Aside from that, for my bonus action, I'm going to use a key point for patient defense to take the dodge action, giving them disadvantage to hit me. With how many are around me, I think that's a good idea.
Yes, particularly given that the cockatrices, well, 2 of the cockatrices are actually next, and given that you have effectively presented yourself to these ones, this one's going to move up and try to bite you. Thankfully misses. You manage to whip your tail out of the way as this thing attempts to chomp on you. The second one also misses. You're basically avoiding the dance of the demon chicken. At this point, Jarvan!
Okay. Let's see. Can I quickly scramble over right about there? Like, wait, hold on. Like, nah, not that close.
15. So, basically in front of Remy here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, you can.
If I do, basically now would be a good time for Thunderwave. So I want to try to aim it at the 3 that are diagonally, like that one. Like,
You'd probably
yeah.
get 2, not 3, because it's 10-foot cube.
Oh, right, 10 foot. My bad. That's
Isn't
fine.
it 15?
No, it's 10.
we had
No, it's 10.
that. I originally thought it was 15. He corrected me and told me it was 10.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I can also pop the spell card, which I'm going to do here in just a second.
It's either that or I got the number even more wrong. But...
Let me.
Actually, no, it probably, to be fair, probably is 15 on the grounds that... But you'd have to be closer than you are to make that work for 3 of them.
Let's see.
Yeah, it is a 15.
Oh yeah, it's a 15-foot
yeah,
cube.
but you'd have to be...
I'd say
You'd have to
Be 3 by 3 then.
Yeah, but you'd have to be standing there.
Can I do, well
Okay.
does the cube have to does the center
Yes.
Yeah, it has to center on me
Yeah,
because I'm
it-
making the noise.
Yeah, it's
Oh.
a cube effect goes... the starting point it's not it doesn't go around like a sphere
Okay.
might, and
All
it
right,
has to
so-
originate with the caster. So yeah,
All right.
he'd have to be there.
All right, so so it's
Okay.
so its origin is the center of one of the faces. Okay.
Yep. So then I will do blam, straight north. Those 3.
Okay, what's to be?
13. It's Dex saving throw, and my spell DC, according to my character sheet, I believe is 13. Let me
And
double
it's a
check.
Constitution saving throw, not Dex.
Oh, my bad.
No,
Perhaps-
that's fine. And it's to be fair, it's the same either way, but
Yeah, but it is 13.
oh my god.
Really?
3 of them. All 3 of them. Roll damage.
Bloody hell.
One of them only just made it, rolled a natural 13, and their cons +1.
Fuck's sake.
The other one was a 14.
The only
and
time this spell actually worked is when I was hitting my own party.
That's true. They're the only ones you've thrown back with Thunderwave ever.
Damn, Blasphemy
Damn.
Chickens are a goddamn
Roll
mess.
damage.
Hey, at least you did damage.
That was fun. Give me a minute. What is...
Yeah, and you didn't
2d8.
you didn't mention what level you were casting at.
2.
Okay.
So that's
Oh, of course,
2d8.
you've only got second level spells. What am I talking about?
Question. Wouldn't it be 3d8 at level 2?
When you cast the spell using a spell slot of second increase, yeah, so it's 3d8.
Okay.
Thank you. Sorry, I misread that.
Yeah, so did I.
Six each. Because it's half damage.
Yeah,
Blasphemy
they
Chickens.
make this really bizarre lizardy screech cluck noise, but they don't move. Remy. Oh no, wait, sorry, you have a bonus action. Darvin, do you want to use your bonus action?
I'm gonna do I'm gonna give an inspiration die to Froseth. Hit him once, hit him twice, because these cockatrice ain't so nice.
Hey. Oh, we need to get you a book of limericks.
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Rhyming couplet.
Remy.
Okay, Remy is going to run right there. Is that blinking? Yes, it
It
is.
is now blinking, yes. Boom. So directly. Okay.
And she is going to cast Divine Favor.
Okay.
Make her sword hit harder. And with the grid map, how far is 5 feet for my protection?
One square is 5 feet, so you could impose that on Furseth and Darvin.
Okie doke. Perfect.
And basically, they've got to be right next to you for that to work.
Okay, and then she's gonna swing at that one.
Okay. Roll damage. Okay, this one it basically Remy takes a wing off. It is not doing particularly well at all. They look terribly nasty, but they're not exactly the sturdiest things in the world. Also, Noms, quick thing, because we do actually have people watching from time to time, we've started taking to saying what rules we've got, because nobody can see the roll 20 when the playback happens. So
right.
for the record, rolled 15.
Okay.
That's why everybody keeps saying what they rolled when we can read it up there.
That is a good point.
Rolled a
This is very
15,
good.
11
Yes.
slashing, and 6 radiant. So,
Yes.
Yeah, like I say, Remy has taken a wing off, and this is one really pissed off chicken lizard.
Blasphemy Chicken!
Do you have a bonus action?
That was Divine Favor, I think.
Oh yeah,
Divine
yeah, of
Favor
course
is
it
a
was.
bonus
Yep.
action, isn't it?
Yep, that's.
Okay.
You see, that's why I was asking, but
Alright.
at some point, Nom's just going to have to learn to declare these things. Okay,
Something or another.
at that point, the incredibly pissed off demon chicken with the missing wing goes for Remy. Oop. Okay, that was about to roll right off the table. And it's gnawing away at the armor, but it's not getting through. The other one decides that Furseth looks like a much tastier target. And you're imposing patient
uses-
defense is disadvantage.
Yeah.
Okay, that basically saved your ass. The more hale and hearty demon chicken launches itself at the hand holding the fire combo, which you just pull back. Nope, nope, nope. Sigwald.
All right. Let's see. Sigwald's going. Let's see. Sigwald is clearly irritated with this, and he is going to actually pull back a bit because he's. Whoops. Delete that. Shit. No. There we go.
Today.
All right. So he's gonna pull back to the edge of the road about there, and let's see. Let me check the range on one of these spells. I'll be just a moment. And let's see.
Well, if you post the spell
Okay,
card, it should.
All right. Let's see. Let's see. Thing is, I don't want to use it if it's not in range. So that's why I'm checking. But
range is 60 feet. Depending on what you're trying to hit, you're fine.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Let's see.
That'd
That'd be like 12 squares. That would be 12 squares. I am going to draw. I'm going to just. Sigvald is going to raise up his symbol of the villain and do kind of an underhanded sweeping gesture, and just a slick field of shiny ooze appears under the highlighted square. The two cockatrices there need to make a dexterity saving throw against a DC of 14.
Okay. One of them falls over. The other one, not so much. So there's an angrily squawking demon chicken covered with arcane grease on the ground there. And do you have bonus actions in mind?
Well, there isn't exactly anything that I can do with my bonus action, so I'm just gonna.
Well, that's
I'm gonna be shouting at Hazel and Clarity to pull over this way. Don't let them surround you.
okay. So those 1, 2, 3, 4 have gone. So okay. Okay, no, those have got far tastier targets than you, luckily. Okay, so this one here, which has been smacked by Darvin, is not very impressed with Darvin right now. Thankfully, it's also a fairly clumsy thing and is trying to avoid the puddle of crud and manages to miss. The one that's in the grease slick, which Darvin's going to have to be careful of, thankfully also misses because it's trying again to be quite careful. Third one. What's your AC?
It is 14.
Okay. You take 2 points of piercing damage and make me a Constitution saving throw.
Oh dear.
As this thing manages to get up from prone state.
Nat 20.
Yeah, you can actually feel something in this bite trying to tense up your skin, it's like a muscle cramp but worse. There's a gritty kind of a feel to it. You just you shake it off like just in sheer panic of that's I've heard stories. I don't want to turn to stone. I've heard stories. I don't want to turn to stone.
I literally, well, no. Better is like I feel that, and I start sing-songing that a little, just like I don't want to turn to stone. I don't want to turn to stone. I really don't want to turn to stone. And I'm like internally, like I'm not praying to the music gods, but at the same time, I'm trying to maybe sort of invoke the best.
This one goes for Hazel.
Right before that, DM, since that one that attacked Darvin, it ended its turn in the grease patch, right?
Those two both did. Yes, actually, that one does need.
It needs to make another dex save.
Yeah, both of them are fine.
Okay.
Okay. Hazel is leapt upon by chicken lizard. Rolled a natural 18, by the way.
Wait.
Yikes.
Wait. Because of the cloak, it forces disadvantage on the thing, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. Natural 17.
Son of a
General Stadium Blasphemy Chickens.
Hazel takes 5 points of piercing damage and make me a Constitution saving throw.
And con save 16.
Yeah, much like Darvin, you feel things tense up in this horrible, gritty way as this toothy beak sort of glumps itself onto your outer thigh, and you're just like, no, paler. I walk in the sun. I don't want to be a statue. I walk in the sun. I don't want to be a statue.
Statue!
Okay, so that's
Less sing-songy, more flaily on that one.
well, that's
And
Hazel.
gesturing in a circle.
Okay, that's clarity.
All right. I will move here next to the fire.
Okay.
And this one is engaged with Hazel now, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so I will throw a I'll go acid first. Acid dagger first. 21.
Roll damage.
There's 8 piercing, 1 acid, and sneak attack. 7 piercing.
So that's 16 total. Yeah, this thing gets hit right in the middle of the body. Again, the wing gets shredded. Dagger winds up back in her belt, and this thing turns, whips its head around with Hazel's blood dripping from its beak and staring at her. It's like.
And I will throw another dagger at its face.
An appropriate response, I feel, when something turns and gives you a dirty look. Dagger.
He's a dagger this time. 23.
Roll damage.
4 piercing, 3 poison.
Okay, it doesn't quite hit the face, but it takes that wing off. And again, it's. You guys really hate it when I do the sound effects, don't you?
It's right in my ears. I mean, that's the headbutt,
why I'm
but
not wearing
still,
a
it's like, yeah.
Okay, these last 2 are going for Hazel.
Oof.
Leave me alone, you blasphemy chickens!
What's your AC?
My AC is 12.
Okay,
Don't
thankfully.
forget, each of them has disadvantage still.
Yes, that's why I asked, because the first roll was a natural 20. Count yourself fucking lucky.
I hate these things so much!
Oh god, and every fucking time, there's no resistance to this. You take another 5 points of piercing damage and make me a Constitution saving throw.
Ugh.
11.
You begin to turn to stone. You actually feel you are now considered restrained until your next turn. If you fail the Constitution save again, you have problems.
Well, my turn hasn't
but-
even come up yet.
Yeah, and right now you can't actually move. Basically, you feel your legs start turning to stone, and you're rooted to the spot as it starts creeping up the rest of your body. And given that you were actually hit, given that you were actually hit the first time, that the displacer effect ends until the end of your next turn, so that natural 20 stands.
Oh, shit! So how much more damage did I just get hit by?
That's double the dice, so that's 9. points of piercing damage, and you begin to turn to stone. Next, thankfully, somehow, this thing, basically it goes to attack you, but it hits a part that's already turning to stone, so yeah, it's sort of like, oh, right, okay, we've got that now. So it's going to be looking for other targets. Hazel! You are restrained. You don't have to make the roll until the end of your next turn. You can act, you just can't move.
Does this qualify as paralyzed?
No.
Crap.
That's why you can move, but you can't. You know, you can act, but you can't move from your spot.
You're not paralyzed. You're just one with the earth.
Yeah. Right now, this isn't something Lesser Restoration will fix.
Yep. Okay. Need a second to think. I'm gonna blow 3 staff charges on myself.
Okay. It's not going to help with the
I can't do anything else. I don't have any way of undoing that. So best I can do is attempt to heal.
You have okay, all right.
Okay.
Lesser restoration isn't a thing I can use isn't a thing I can really clear this from. I don't have any other spells that'll do it.
Oh, that doesn't mean you can't give a glorious golden fuck you and hope you make the second save. There's options.
I'm at 8 HP. I need the health.
Okay.
Alright. Numbers for that are... I am back up to full.
Okay. Now make me a Constitution saving throw.
Sigwald is going to be screaming to Hazel to hold it to fight off the venom, and is going to supply his 13.
That actually works.
Yes.
Thank you.
As Sigwald in his regional Grayson accent starts screaming, "I'm not gonna haul around your
I ain't gonna haul around your statue, Hazel. Get your movement back. Get your feet back, damn it.
And surprisingly enough, just the chuckle that gets is enough to for Paler to go, yeah, okay, fine, Ted. It recedes. Unfortunately, you're still going to have to continue making saves if you keep getting bitten, but for now, you have your legs back. I have this cat head.
Oh God!
Yeah, he
Wow.
he
Hi,
he
dude.
doesn't want to go.
I mean, I don't mind. Hi.
I
there.
can't see any of you guys.
That was incredible. Hi, good luck, cat.
Okay. Top of the round for Seth.
Okay. Huh. I've got two options. I'm trying to decide between. I think for the most part, Remy should probably be okay over here with her incredibly high AC. So if I disengage and move over to Hazel help there, that might be better.
Do you have disengage as a?
Disengage you can take as an action, but anyone. But as a monk, I can use a key point to do it as a bonus action
Okay, good
with
to know.
Step of the Wind.
So where
Which, yeah, I think I'm going to do. Step of the Wind.
Okay. So where are you gonna go?
One key point to go right next to Hazel.
Yeah, you can.
So
do
I've got
that.
40-foot movement. That should be easy enough to get
Oh, yeah.
there.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'll attack the one that's already hurt.
That's that one. that one.
19.
Roll damage.
Seven slashing and one fire.
Rather miraculously, you're just like, okay, I've had just about enough of this. Chook! Fire comma right through the head. Scrunch. So that's one off board.
Nice.
That leaves some fairly frustrated chicken lizards. Who, lacking in anything else to do, move essentially to skirt around Remy there, and 5, 10, 15. Yeah, that one's probably going to provoke an attack of opportunity from Remy. If Remy wants to make an attack of opportunity at the encroaching chicken lizard.
Is that an advantage attack or a normal attack?
The normal attack.
Okie doke. 16.
Roll damage.
4 plus 6
Yeah.
plus 4.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Angry, squawking chicken lizard, not looking particularly well, but still up there. As both of these try to take chomps out of Darwin. So that's 3 points of piercing damage and make me a Constitution saving throw.
Is that with the protection though? That Remy said that they were.
It has to declare that.
Oh, I thought that was.
Wait, what?
What was the thing that
well,
you said
it's-
before with the protection that you were doing on Froseth and me because we were next to you? Was that? What was that?
But that's something that
When
you
a creature
do.
attacks a target other than you within 5 feet, you roll 4. You can impose disadvantage on them.
Okay, well, and generally speaking, you'd need to declare, but
Oh, I see. I thought it was already declared. I thought it was ongoing. I didn't realize you had to declare that at the beginning of each round.
ye kind
Isn't
of.
that part?
It's
It's a protection fighting style. Oh.
It is. The thing is the reason that even if the book doesn't necessarily state, I would like it to be declared.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because I'm trying to keep track of combat with 6 people and now 9 enemies.
Right.
Right.
So-
Here's
Very
Oh,
fair.
and you have to use your reaction.
which you just
And
used for an
we've
attack.
So yeah.
Ah,
Okay. So
okay. That clears that up. Then I take and I'll make
3.
the saving throw.
Yeah, I would have happily rolled the disadvantage, but if we've worked from that point of view, then
Mm-hmm.
I thought it might be a reaction, but again, it's something that I'd like people to remind me about per round, just so I can keep track.
Eugh.
Yeah, you
Fine.
start-
Rooted.
Yeah, and there's a second one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what I imagine that if this one
I'll
doesn't
roll it
get
again.
made, you actually
Yeah,
properly.
I'm getting stoned. Nat 20,
What's your AC?
14.
No, actually, no, it just hits you.
Yep.
So that's 5 points of piercing damage, and make me a Constitution saving throw. I'm going to declare disadvantage on this because you're
Okay.
prone. Well,
Well, I got a 10, so I think that misses it anyway.
yeah.
So I'm stoned.
Yeah, Darvin is
I'm dead.
currently a statue.
Yep.
Sigwald does know, just because he did make a reasonably good nature roll, this will last for 24 hours, so it's not permanent. But
I don't know. Oh, I'm.
but
Yeah,
no,
I'm
nobody else knows this. So currently
You
we
basically
have
just see me die.
currently, yeah, Remy has turned around to attack this thing, and just sees this granite gray creep all the way up Darvin, and now he is a
Awkward.
statue. So we'll take him out of the initiative order. Remy, it's your go.
Okay, so I guess protection doesn't matter now, but if she
Yeah, but
repositions, if I can click on the thing, she'll
yeah, she
try to avoid that for the next person,
she
and then she's gonna swing at that one.
that's the one she'd already been hitting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, good. Roll damage.
20 plus 6 plus 1 plus 2.
Yeah, it's that last bit of divine favor radiance that does it.
Yay.
You see it look up at you as you sort of slam it into the ground with your sword, and then this last burst of divine light channels through it and thud. So that one can be removed from the board. Any bonus action you care to?
Yeah. Oh, what's the thing I could do?
As I recall, the last time you used Vow of Enmity. But I don't know if that's the same thing as if that's also
No. I will use Shield Master to shove one of the creatures back.
okay.
I'm kind of standing on my own here.
Which one of the creatures?
That one.
Okay.
I don't know. Roll for that.
Just
Shoving is kind of like an athletic strength contest of some kind, isn't it?
we'll go with athletics for the time being.
Okie doke. That's a good choice. 8.
Nope, it does not move. It meets your shield by essentially ramming its own beak into it. It doesn't
God,
like
that's
you very
creepy.
much. Not always great on the voices. Really good at the sound effects. Okay, so that's those two have already gone. You've removed one from the, and that one's already attacked. So it's 1, 2, 3. Okay, so the one you have attempted to shove with your shield goes for you again. And again, basically meets your shield more than you, because you've already got your shield up in this sort of bring it.
I don't care.
This one moves out of the grease. Oh wow. Oh wow, that actually hits. Something has actually managed to fucking hit Remy.
What?
Natural 19 with a +3, so
Oof.
that's 4 points of piercing and make me a Constitution saving throw. As this thing manages to get its beak into the bit of joint armor behind the knee.
Oh,
Fuck
5.
Can't believe we're gonna lose to a bunch of little chicken lizards.
Oh, is this when we
I
TPK?
hate these things.
Sorry,
There's 10 of these fuckers.
I shouldn't be laughing. It's just the way Nob said it. you beat the Urdrow, and you're going to be pecked to death by chicken lizards.
Yep.
There are more of them.
See, I would
It's only 'cause
respond,
we're gonna
but
be
I
turned to
can't.
stone. That's the problem. We can handle the pecking.
It's the stone that's the problem.
Okay, that one moves out of the grease and goes for Frozeth. Thankfully, misses. It pecks for the tail again, and yeah, you're seeing that entire corner getting swarmed and turned to stone. So that's varying amounts of fun.
Yeah.
Actually, I think I let two. Anyway, Sigwald.
Sigvald's gonna keep calling out, get back, get distance if you can. 2, 3, 4.
Oh, two of them can't fucking move. You've got Remy going,
Well,
that'll be
yeah.
a problem!
All right. Well, he's mostly shouting to Clarity, Froseth, and Hazel.
Well, to
and,
be fair, given the armor, he can't see what's happening to Remy.
yeah, and again, he's gonna start building up distance. And God damn it, wrong button. And he's gonna move back here. And
Okay, yeah, because that's gonna be a little problematic, because then I'm gonna have to scroll up and down the battlefield. I'll do it, but keep in mind I won't be able to see your tag at all.
Yes,
All right.
Is there a resizing option for the map on your end? Because I have one.
There is, but moving, I'm gonna have to keep scrolling back and forth between them. And again,
Yeah.
I'll do it, but it's a little harder to count the squares this way. Remember, my eyesight's not great, even with
Oh,
these.
well.
I haven't had my prescription checked in years. Anyway, where do you want to move?
hang on, I'm just counting out 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna move to the middle of the road, right about there.
Okay.
And Sigvald's just gonna go,
See if there's any
all right.
way to make this-
well, the best way to incapacitate is to kill. And he's gonna raise up the villain symbol, clutched in his fist, point with his finger, and fire off a scorching ray. Just 3 beams of flame go after the one on the corner of Darwin right here.
Okay.
All right. So let's see. All right, scorching ray. 20. Oh,
At 20.
Oh,
And-
God.
you
and the thing is-
dead. I'm
you and
surprised.
Scorching
and here's the thing is that for flavor, I'm gonna say that I fire off all beams at once. And
You don't.
Uh,
Sorry, I'm
yeah.
I'm gonna interrupt you there.
okay,
You don't want to do that. You want to know
yeah,
why?
all right,
These things have very little in the way of hit points.
Okay.
They're small.
okay.
You
Well,
probably want the
Sigvald is-
option to
all right,
transfer.
okay, all right. Well, in that case, for this first shot, that's a 5 and a 5 and a. Okay, so that's 19 damage
Was that
to
one?
that one.
No, I don't know if that was one of the ones that was already wounded.
All right.
I think so. Anyway, next shot.
And second shot is going to be to the one right here, right on top of Darwin at the corner of Remy.
I kind of figured you were gonna keep shooting at that one until it was actually dead. But
Oh, okay.
the way I
but-
figure it is, you pick a target, you shoot until
Yeah.
dead, and if you kill it
Okay.
within the first
All right.
shot or two, you move on to the
Okay.
next one.
All right. Well, that's a 19,
Yep, roll damage.
and that is 8 damage.
And you see, that's why I flagged up, because that literally just kills it. It
Okay.
does, it kind of smells like chicken that somebody has poisoned with cyanide before roasting.
Okay. Okay.
So that
And
one leaves
You know,
the
I'm actually
fourth.
kind of glad I'm stoned. I can't smell it.
and the last scorching ray, and it's going to be. Oh. Wait, I said I was aiming for the one at the corner of Remy, right on top of Darwin.
You were hitting the one next, the first.
You
You've got
Yeah.
one shot.
The crit went for the one at the corner of Darwin.
Yeah.
Right,
Oh,
and the
sorry,
normal
but
shot
I
was-
when I said you pick a target, you shoot until it's dead. The first shot
Oh.
didn't kill it.
Okay,
The
all right.
second shot killed it, which means you still have the third to transfer onto something else.
Okay, well the third shot. Then now the third shot is going to go after the one up to the corner of Remy, like right next to Darwin,
Okay.
and that
oh,
is
so that one.
another
So
natural 20.
That one.
Yes, last
Okay,
shot's on that,
roll damage.
Oh my god, this again!
and it is 9 damage.
I think that one wasn't actually injured before, but it's roasted pretty bad.
I do recall it was that Remy used an attack of opportunity on it.
Oh,
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
she
was-
did. But okay, but not quite enough damage to.
Okay.
Right.
It's on fire!
And I kind of rushed through those cockatrice things. So, clarity.
Okay. Is this one that Sigwald just hit, is it engaged with Remy?
I think so. Oh,
Okay.
It's kind of looking at Sigwald now, just with that.
Okay.
Yeah!
Either
So
way,
would
its
it that be-
attention isn't really on you.
Oh, okay. Got it. So I will acid dagger that one. 23.
Roll damage.
6 piercing, 1 acid, and sneak attack. 8 piercing.
Flying dagger actually chops its head right off.
Nice.
It winds up embedding itself in the turf and then winds up back in her belt again. A little bit messy, but hey, it's done the job. Okay, bonus action.
I will shoot at the next one that was right behind it, so this one.
Okay.
Poison dagger. Offhand, 21.
Roll damage.
I think those are my rolls from last time too. 4 piercing, 2 poison.
Yeah, that one's still up, but it lifts its head up from its current meal to look at you and. Okay, that just leaves these two, who are going to go for Hazel. Thankfully, your Displacer Cloak has kicked back in. The first one misses. It's chipping away, and you're just, don't want to be a statue! Don't want to be a statue! Same with the second one, although Froseth's having to kind of dodge dancing limbs a little bit. And now it's Hazel's turn.
Right! Okay! These things are annoying!
Just a little bit.
I'm right next to one, so get the crossbow's going away, out comes the hammer. This thing's getting boffed one. The one right in front of me.
Okay. Roll. Roll damage.
7 bludgeoning, 2 thunder, so that was a Well, damn, they don't take much to smack.
No, they're basically oversized demon chickens. Remind me, was that one that Clarity had already been attacking?
No, that was the one I killed.
Oh, right. Okay. So yeah, you've squished a wing, and it's looking up at you with a.
Oh, go away!
Okay, bonus action.
Bonus action, spiritual weapon.
Okay.
Spiritual weapon right behind it.
So.
In the form of another hammer. Get my cheat sheet real quick.
Okay.
Oh, and I'm casting this at second level. So that's... That's the attack roll, 20.
Roll damage.
And that's 8 force damage.
It's looking pretty dented, and it's hissing at you like. And it's really
Oh,
pissed
just
at
be
you.
a pancake! Stop twitching! Go away, blasphemy chicken!
I want to add that that second level is the base level for spiritual weapon, and at that level you only roll 1d8.
We're gonna look at that later. We'll leave this for now.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
yeah, I'll figure that out later. Fix my
Yeah.
cheat sheet.
Yeah, that's probably a cheat thing. Thank you for pointing it out. Going to leave it ride for the time being because we have one person
Okay.
turned to stone, one person halfway there. We've got 25 minutes, and
Right.
sometimes I'll skip over things for the sake of expediency. Top of the
Mhm.
round, Furseth.
Okay, I am going to try attacking the one that Hazel just tried to flatten.
Okay. Makes more than little sense.
It's a cake pan at this point.
13.
Roll damage.
6 slashing, 3 fire, so 9 damage.
That finally finishes it off with a. Oops, oh Christ, I've done this again. With a very brief reek of poisonous roast chicken. It drops.
Okay. In which case, I am going to use, for my bonus action, a key point to Flurry of Blows the other one that's right by me to get unarmed attacks on it. That's a natural 1.
Uh-oh.
You try to stamp on it and do accidentally step on your own tail.
Ow.
Second
Second one. 18.
roll damage.
Okay. 6 damage.
This time you managed to stamp on the right tail. It's still going, but it's
Yes, I know.
the noise almost sounds like it's laughing at you.
Oh, shut up, demon chicken!
Okay.
Go away, you Foul piece of blasphemy!
I will smite you. Okay, actually, all the ones that were in the first wave are done, and Darvin's out of the picture. Remy, you cannot move from your spot, but you can act before I make you make a Constitution saving throw.
Constitution now or
No,
afterwards?
after.
Okay.
Just keep in mind you cannot move from the position you are in because your legs are turning to stone.
Okay. All three of these are in range?
Yes.
Okay. Gonna slash at that one.
Okay.
It's 18.
Roll damage.
It's 4 plus 2 plus 2.
It's really not looking well, but it's still kicking.
And then she's going to bash that one back.
Okay.
It's athletics. 18.
It's currently off the map somewhere. Okay, now make me a Constitution saving throw.
15.
By the grace of Tritherion and your desperate need to revenge yourself upon these fucking demon chickens. The feeling of petrification starts to fade from your legs.
These things are horrible.
Which is just as well, because the one that the one that you haven't slashed at has its turn, and it's going to go for you again. Thankfully, clank on the armor. Sigwald!
All right. Sigwald is going to close the distance a bit. He's going to move right where I'm putting this blip here.
Okay.
And he's just going to take another page out of Hazel's book, and after screaming "Live at Hazel," he's going to scream "Burn" at this next cockatrice that's right there and fire another set of scorching rays.
It's a shame Darvin can't hear this, because, oh Christ, now there's two of them.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Ethan, I really am.
Okay. 24 on the hit,
Roll damage.
and that is 5.
Okay, that one was... I'm trying to remember, what was that? Okay, that one was relatively untouched. Roll again.
All right, next shot. 25.
Roll damage.
What are you, an autocannon?
I am. That's 10 fire damage.
Yeah, by relatively untouched, I mean relatively. So that one is now off the board. Third, and what's your target?
It's going to be this one right here that's just been knocked off the map.
Okay.
And I'm just like, as it's been, I'm imagining kind of knocked onto its side, and
Well,
if
no,
this
it's
hits,
not prone, but
yeah, well, 16,
roll damage.
and that's 8.
Still just standing.
All right.
Flaming blasphemy chickens.
Currently, those two are they have their target. They can't move very far, very fast, so they're just gonna take what they can, which means both of them are coming back for Remy. And both of them clank, clank on armor. You can just feel them pecking at the armor on her thighs. Just go, for fuck's sake! Surrounded by pecking demon chickens. Okay, clarity. Thankfully, they're both pretty wounded at this point, but...
Okay. I'm going to dagger the one that's right next to Froseth here.
Okay.
19.
Roll damage.
8 piercing, 4 acid, and I get sneak attack. 7 piercing.
Thunk, right through the body. Chunk, and it's gone.
Nice. I'm gonna move to where it was.
So up there. Book.
Yeah. And I feel like Remy needs a little bit of help, so I'm gonna fire at this one.
Okay.
13.
Roll damage.
4
Nice.
piercing, 2 poison.
And that one's been taking a beating. So. Yep, that one's gone too. All you guys see is Clarity framed by firelight, and little glints of metal as thunk, thunk, skewered demon chicken. Usually slightly fried. It's either that or fireballs come out of absolutely nowhere and boom. This leaves this one here. It knows what it wants, and what it wants is for Hazel to stop waving that fucking hammer around. Thankfully, winds up, pecking at the head of the hammer, which is still flailing around in a leave me alone kind of way. And it is now Hazel's go.
Hazel, smash!
Roll damage.
20, and that's 10 damage, 4 of it thunder.
Pancake.
Just overhead whammo!
All did Froseth and Clarity just see this? If you've ever wondered what happened if you dropped a very heavy weight onto a chicken, now you know. Crunch. Bonus action.
Can I send my spiritual weapon over here to buff that one with an identical?
How far can you move it?
Checking. Uh, 20 feet, and then can attack within 5 feet.
No. Unfortunately, you'd have to move 30 feet to be able to get within range.
That's it. That's my turn.
Okay. Top of the round, Froseth.
Okay. I'm gonna, since I can move really far, I'm just gonna move over to next to Remy there.
Yeah, you can do that by skirting around over the bedrolls.
Yeah.
Then avoid the grease slick that's currently still there. Okay.
And since I haven't done this very often, I figure why not? I am going to breathe frost on the stupid thing. Because I am silver, it's a con save, and the DC is 11.
I was just waiting to see if Sigwald was gonna try to impose the 10, but nope. It rolled a natural 19.
Ugh.
This is why I waited. I was good. I was very good. I usually rush, and I'm sorry
Alright,
about that.
okay.
And I waited, but nope.
Alright.
Okay. So
I don't think a 10 would have helped there. You said earlier it has a +1, which meets the DC.
Fair enough, but would have been a lot closer, and I might have fudged it just for rule of cool. Actually, probably would have fudged it just for rule of cool. But natural 19, I'm not gonna fudge.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Okay, still takes half damage anyway.
Okay,
So.
roll damage. And it had taken a bit of a beating before anyway. Not quite that amount of. It's covered in ice, and it looks so pissed off. I mean, it already looked pissed off because it's just its face, but now it's just doing that at you in a sort of a chattery kind of a way. Bonus action?
I'm not sure if I can still do unarmed attacks. I think I have to do a attack for my action to do that as a bonus.
I thought it was
Gonna
only
double check.
flurry of blows that you needed to do a melee for, but you could still spend a key point and do a single attack. That's what you said the last time you used Frost Breath on something.
Okay. Well, we'll double check that for the future, but we'll go with that.
We'll go with that. Look, I want these things dead just as much as you do.
Yeah. So, assuming that 14 hits, that's
Yes,
5
roll damage.
bludgeoning.
Okay. Still not quite enough, but thankfully, Remy.
Remy's gonna smack it again. Hopefully.
Okay.
8. Maybe not so hopefully.
No. Again, we're right back to we're a little bit blinded with rage right now, and it just whoop over the creature's head.
This last one is dodgy.
In all senses of the word, says the person who's been living in the UK for over 25 years. Okay, unfortunately, it is its go. And it has a wealth of targets to choose from, but it's going to go for the one that just covered it in snowfall, so...
Fair.
And that's a definite hit. Another natural 19. That's 5 piercing, and make me a Constitution save. Yeah, you could. You now feel that feeling of. I mean, you now see Darvin. You know what happens.
Yeah.
But it's probably seeing that enables you to just nope. Sigwald.
Well, my line of fire is blocked, so...
That's the problem with getting that much distance.
Yeah. Well, in that case, Sigwald is going to... He's actually going to run back over to the campsite about there.
What's your movement speed?
It's 30.
Okay, so that's 25. So you've got
Okay.
5 more.
And I'm
You
gonna burn
could-
my last.
Yeah, you could
By
theoretically fire from there.
I'm gonna burn my last second level spell slot to make a Misty Step to ensure that I get the shot. And I'm gonna Misty Step right next to right in front of the grease pit right there.
Okay.
And Sigwald's just gonna be yelling, "This ends now!" as he casts Firebolt, and gives himself his 10. Wait, so cancel my, and so I impose my 10 on myself. Let me clear that out.
Okay. Well, first of all, can you pop the spell card?
All right, Firebolt spell card. Just a moment. Okay. Thing is, normally the output is an attack, so let me change this up. And there it is.
Okay, so what would be the modifier to that 10?
The modifier is 6.
That
spell
definitely
attack
hits. Roll damage.
And let's see. So so the damage is 1d10. And ew.
Oh.
This does not end now.
Okay, a few seconds from now.
It's one fucking blasphemy chicken. It's like the Vine Blights all over again.
All the rest of them are dead, so clarity.
So I watch Sigwald just sort of whoop, a little bit of fire, and I'm just like, acid dagger. 25.
Roll damage.
It's okay, Sigwald. It happens to everyone.
7
Says the
piercing, 1
statue.
acid,
And
and 10 piercing.
how do you want to do this?
I just kind of blink at what Sigwald did. And
And I'm giving you a meaningful look like, do it! Do it!
there you go.
And again, the knife just goes straight through the neck. Thud, thud, thud.
And I just run over to Darvin and go, "Oh, gods! What do we do about this?"
I'm running over and trying spare the dying.
And Sigwald's actually going over to inspect Darvin and going, oh dear.
I walk in the sun and the sun
it's
heals the
annoying.
worthy. I walk in the sun and the sun heals the worthy. I walk in the sun and the sun heals the
And-
worthy.
While Hazel's chanting, Sigwald goes, this is inconvenient, but not a disaster.
And everybody's
Cockatrice
looking
poison
at you.
only lasts what?
Everybody's just staring at you, like, what do you mean? He's a fucking statue.
That's you!
Cockatrice poison only lasts for 24 hours. He'll be back to his usual self. He'll be tomorrow night.
Okay.
And you got used to
I am
You got
stumping over to Clarity
You alright?
and kissing her spit on the mouth.
Oh!
And Darwin misses this.
And then stumbling back to my bedroll, just boom!
Yusuf peering over the edge of the cart, seeing the statue of Darwin and going, what just happened?
There were cockatrices, Yusuf. 10 of them. They bit Darvin. He should recover by tomorrow night.
No, I know from cockatrices.
Are you sure?
No, he's right. I know from cockatrices. We don't normally have that many all at once. They don't normally flock like this. The world is becoming more and more bizarre every day. I'm going to sleep now. And rolls over.
Look near his face!
So, do we load Darvin into the cart now or in the morning?
Well, Yusuf's sleeping in the cart now.
Oh, okay.
Yes, you got Flitty going, you can't put a statue in with the bed. I don't think that he would be as comfy as Hazel's sharing with. Should I not say that because there was the mouth bumping? Flitty doesn't really understand the concept.
Clarity currently does not understand the concept either.
Sigwald's kind of looking back and forth from Clarity to Hazel, going, wow. Wow. Just
At which point you get
Oh.
Flitty, who's picked up on a few different things from the lot of you, and there is a certain amount of fairy dragon gossip network going. See, this is kind of weird, because I thought the mouth bumpy thing only happened when there was a different kind of lovey than this. But I do know that pretty lady. And she likes ladies, but I don't know if she likes Hazel Lady that way. It's all very confusing. Why are bipeds so confusing?
Because we
wonder
don't
the
know
same-
ourselves.
I wonder the same thing quite often, Flitty.
then Simmons perches on Fursa's shoulder and goes, You have face like I have face. Do we do the face bumping? Is that
Not
the thing?
normally.
Okay, good, because I think that would get pointy, especially if we were doing it with people who didn't have this face.
I don't even know how to respond.
I love this. This is.
And I'm not hearing. I am completely left out.
Oh.
What a story for Darwin when he finally comes to.
Like, and Singy Man is going to be okay?
He will.
Yes, he'll be fine. Just don't chip anything off him. Only now that I said it, I'm worried I jinxed it.
I'm a sit right here, sits on top of Darvin's head, and nothing's gonna come anywhere near him.
That's
And there he is,
adorable.
perched on Darvin's statue head, like the bluest, prettiest pigeon.
I'm like almost face down on the bedroll. What's he saying?
Oh, we were just saying that I don't think that biggers like it when I don't think we're supposed to tell biggers that we're gossiping about them. So I'm not gonna say anything.
What?
Also, I was asking about.
Go to sleep, Hazel.
I was talking about
Okay.
just okay. You guys haven't even had dinner yet. You didn't
I will
finish
say
your
this is
meal.
probably the quietest Darvin's ever been in his life.
So as you
I'm going to die.
Darwin, Sigvald's just gonna finish his meat, have his dinner, and just go to sleep. He's tired from all that spell nonsense.
Of course, it does mean that Clarity is alone with her thoughts for her first watch.
Clarity flops down, and just still staring. Takes out 3 of the furry things.
Okay. 1, 7, and Norman.
It's always Norman. What the
1, 7, and
What
Norman.
So much so that you know which one it is from memory.
Oh come on! I knew from the start because it was so soon after the first time, and now it's just embedded there.
It's Wendell the Weasel and Brandon the Direwolf.
Oh, Brandon's back.
Tiger.
Yes, Sigwald, as he's just polishing off his meal, watches as Clarity prepares for her watch by pulling out the Weasel, Direwolf, and Norman again.
It's Weaselton.
Wendell the Weasel.
To die. Oh no! Whoa! What? I don't want to fall over.
He actually pulled a Hazel. Well done.
Why?
What? Who? Sigvald?
Me.
Oh,
He
Hazel
did-
pulled a Hazel.
Well,
No.
no.
Flair pulled the Hazel.
Spiegel pulled
Oh.
the Hazel. The
I almost
flail
fell
whap thud.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah, so Sigwald and Remy get to witness the. She basically reaches into a bag, pulls out essentially a ball of fur, tosses it, and poof, Weasel. Tosses another one, poof, Direwolf. Tosses another one, poof, Norman.
Oh, boy.
Grabs Norman, just sort of pets him.
Sigvald is like just finished his dinner. Is like sitting down his bedroll. Very good, and then he flops back to go to sleep.
We are such idiots.
Okay, so with the sun having set on on statue Darwin. And
Now I'm just picturing, the silhouette, the sun setting, the silhouette of the statue just looking all majestic.
with a butterfly with a fairy winged fairy dragon sitting on top of his head, and Clarity alone with her direwolf and her cuddle badger, and a weasel worn as a scarf essentially. We draw the curtain on this week's session and come back in 2 weeks when you wind up sharing a cart of feed with a statue bard, a weasel,
Every status
a
effect.
badger, and a direwolf.
Every status effect.
Well,
has
they're
happened
gonna
to
be
Dawn
gone
Technically
by
that'll be
dawn.
gone by dawn, but
Yep.
it's still a funny mental image, so
Yeah,
Okay.
but first he was a bunny, now he's a statue.
Anyway, thank you. I will get you your XP next Saturday, and I will see you all in 2 weeks' time when Darwin gets to wake up to, oh, we've moved. Thankfully, by the time he gets unstatued, there will be an actual inn. Anyway, I'll see you
Yes.
guys in 2 weeks. Thank you. That was awesome.